Hello everyone, I'm Sarah of Rich Textures Crochet and welcome. Today we're going to learn how to crochet the River Stone Beanie, which you can see here in front of you. This is a wonderfully textured crochet hat worked with slip stitches and half double crochet 2 together stitches. It's worked from the bottom up to the top, and our size today will fit a teen or an adult head with a 20 to 22 inch circumference. I'll give you some instruction a little later on how you might adjust the size for our hat. It can be worn with a pom-pom or without, as I am showing you here. Today for the tutorial, you're going to need a worsted weight yarn. I'm using the Heatherly yarn by Knit Picks We Crochet. I'm actually going to be working in this green color that I've already balled up here. And there's about 218 yards in this hank of yarn. It's a wool blend yarn. You're going to need the full ball of yarn almost for this pattern. And a little bit depends on if you want to make your own pom-pom at the end or attach a faux fur one. So you're going to need some worsted weight yarn. You're also going to need a 5mm or an H8 crochet hook. There are links to these items in the description of this video, along with a direct link to the free written instructions, which can be found on richtexturescrochet.com. You may wish to have a copy of those on hand as well. Also down in the description, just a little plug for my 2 crochet books available on Amazon. Barn Quilt Blankets, which is a collection of 5 crochet blanket patterns, and then Intermediate Crochet Stitches, which is 102 crochet stitch patterns. Some of my favorites are in these books, so you'll find them linked directly down below in the description. Thank you so much for joining me. While you're here, I invite you to subscribe, take a look around. There are many other free crochet patterns and stitch tutorials here on my channel. Let's grab our hooks and yarn and get started. For our design today, we're going to start down at the brim of our hats. We're going to start by making a slip knot. The brim of your hat is going to be worked in rows. You're going to start off by working a foundation chain, and you're going to chain 10 chains. If you wish to change the thickness of your brim, you can use any multiple of chain stitches. Today I'll start with 10. Once you've worked that foundation chain, you're going to begin row 1 by working a slip stitch into the second chain from your hook, and I am working in the back bumps of my stitches here. Slip stitch into that second chain and then slip stitch into each stitch all the way across. You're going to have a total of 9 slip stitches at the end of this row. If you are not a fan of slip stitch brims, you may wish to substitute for single crochet or half double crochet. I just prefer to work my brims entirely in slip stitches. At the end of row 1, you're going to chain 1 and turn your work. We're now going to be working in the back loops only all the way across. To find the back loop only of your stitch, if you're looking at the top of your slip stitch, you will see a loop that is closest to you and a loop that is furthest away. This one that's furthest away is your back loop only. So you're going to slip stitch into that first stitch. Your chain 1 does not count as a stitch. And then slip stitch into the back loop only of each stitch all the way across. You will continue to have 9 slip stitches, all worked in the back loop only. At the end of row 2, chain 1, turn your work, and you're now going to repeat the row 2, so slip stitch in the back loop only of each stitch across. At the end of your row, chain 1 and turn. You're going to repeat this row 2 until your work from the beginning measures approximately 16 to 17 inches. And that's when your brim is relaxed and laid flat. When it stretches, it should fit comfortably around a head with a 20 to 22 inch circumference. Again, if you wish to change the length or the circumference on the brim of your hat, you're simply going to work more or less rows, more or less repeats of your row 2. So go ahead, work the 16 to 17 inches and then meet me back here. Now once you have worked your 16 to 17 inches, as I have done here, you're going to take your 2 shorter ends and you're going to fold them over so that they meet. There was no need to fasten off. What you're going to do is we're going to slip stitch these 2 short ends together. So chain 1, and then again I've been working in the back loop only of the first side. Reach across into the corresponding stitch on the opposite side and into that back loop only. You're going to work a slip stitch. If you wish, you can switch it up a little bit. Work under both loops, work under the front loop or the back loop. It's really up to you to get the look of the seam on the opposite side. I'm working in the back loop only of both sides, and you're just going to slip stitch all the way across. This is going to bring those seams together, bring those ends together. Once you come all the way across, chain 1, and you're going to turn your brim so that it is right side out. Now just looking at it here, my seam here is pretty thick, so I might just go back and redo that once more, trying to work in the front loops only, just to bring it in a little bit closer. We are now going to begin the body of our hat, and we're going to be working now in rounds around this long edge of our hat brim. We're going to start by just working one round just to get us set up so we have nice stitches to work into. You're going to chain 1 after your seam, and you're then going to work 72 half double crochet stitches evenly all the way around. You're just going to insert your hook wherever you find it comfortable on the brim of your hat, but we're going to work 72 half double crochet stitches. If you are changing the size of your beanie, you will want to have a multiple of 2 stitches for this first round of your hat. Once you have worked 72 half double crochet stitches all the way around, you're going to join with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch. At this time, there's no need to turn your work. You're going to chain 1. We're now going to work a series of slip stitch cluster stitches all the way around. So to begin, you're going to start by slip stitching into that first stitch. You're then going to work a half double crochet 2 together over the first stitch and the second stitch. So beginning in the same stitch as your previous stitch, you're going to yarn over, insert your hook into that stitch, yarn over, and then draw up a loop. You will have 3 loops on your hook. You're then going to yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, draw up a loop. You'll have 5 loops on your hook, yarn over, and pull through all 5 loops. These 2 stitches together, your slip stitch and your half double crochet 2, will form the slip stitch cluster. You're then going to repeat this process all the way around. Slip stitch into the next stitch and work a half double crochet 2 together, beginning in the same stitch as your slip stitch and then finishing in the next stitch. Repeat slip stitch into the next stitch and half double crochet 2 together, beginning in the same stitch. Slip stitch in the next stitch and half double crochet, 2 together. Repeat this all the way around until you come to your first stitch. When you come all the way around at the end of round 2, I'm just working my final 2 stitches. You're going to join with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch, which is this slip stitch. Chain 1 and turn your work. We're now going to repeat round 2 for rounds 3 through to 20. So round 2, beginning with the slip stitch into the top of your first half double crochet 2 together, followed by your half double crochet 2 together stitch. Slip stitch, and then half double crochet 2 together. You're going to repeat that round 2 until you've worked a total of 20 rounds in the hat body, so that's a total of 19 rounds of your slip stitch cluster, and then you're going to meet me back here at the end of round 20. At the end of round 20, you will have repeated that round 2 up until the end, and this is what your work looks like from the beginning. You'll have this beautiful texture throughout. We're now ready to start the decreases in the top of our hat, and we want to continue this same texture throughout the top of the beanie. So what we're going to do is we're going to chain 1, turn our work, and to work the decrease rounds, we're going to begin by working a slip stitch into the next stitch, followed by your half double crochet 2 together, beginning in the same as a slip stitch, and into the next stitch. And you're going to do that a total of 6 times. So that was once, then slip stitch in the next stitch, followed by your half double crochet 2 together. There's twice. Three, 4, 5, and 6. You're then going to, over the next 2 stitches, simply work a half double crochet 2 together with no slip stitch. Half double crochet 2 together. You're then going to repeat that all the way around, beginning in the next stitch, slip stitch, followed by half double crochet 2 together, beginning in the same stitch as a slip stitch, finishing in the next. You're going to do that a total of 6 times. So that's once, now twice, there's 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then half double crochet 2 together over the next 2 stitches. Repeat that all the way around. At the end of round 21, you're going to come all the way around, work your half double crochet 2 together, and then you're going to have 2 remaining stitches. So into the 2 remaining stitches, you're going to work your slip stitch, followed by your half double crochet 2 together. Join with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch. You're going to have a total of 67 stitches at the end of this round. Chain 1 and turn your work. Now for round 22, you're going to slip stitch and half double crochet 2 together, beginning in that slip stitch. You're going to do that a total of 5 times. So that was once, then slip stitch, half double crochet 2 together, twice, slip stitch, half double crochet 2 together 3 times, 4 and 5. You're then going to simply half double crochet 2 stitches together over the next 2 stitches. You're then going to repeat that all the way around, slip stitch and half double crochet 2 together beginning in that slip stitch a total of 5 times. And then half double crochet 2 together over the next 2 stitches. Repeat all the way around. At the end of round 22, when you come all the way around, you'll work your half double crochet 2 together, and then you have 7 stitches remaining. So you're going to finish off this round by working a slip stitch and half double crochet 2 together 3 times. So there's once, twice, and 3 times. You have 1 stitch remaining. You're simply going to slip stitch into that final stitch. Join with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch, chain 1, and turn your work. We're now going to, for round 23, slip stitch into the first stitch, followed by a half double crochet 2 together, and you're going to do that a total of 4 times. I should also mention that at the end of round 22 you should have had 62 stitches. So slip stitch, half double crochet 2 together 4 times. That was once, now twice, and 3, and 4. You're then going to half double crochet 2 together. Repeat that all the way around, slip stitch, half double crochet 2 together 4 times, and then half double crochet 2 together. At the end of round 23, you're going to have 2 stitches remaining into those final 2 stitches. After you've worked that half double crochet 2 together, you're simply going to work your slip stitch and half double crochet 2 together beginning in the same stitch as the previous slip stitch, and then join with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch. Chain 1, turn your work. At the end of that round, you're going to have a total of 57 stitches. Now for round 24, we're going to slip stitch into our first stitch, followed by our half double crochet 2 together, beginning in the same stitch, and you're going to do that a total of 3 times. Slip stitch, half double crochet 2 together, and slip stitch, half double crochet 2 together. You're then going to simply work a half double crochet 2 together over the next 2 stitches. We're going to repeat that all the way around, slip stitch, half double crochet 2 together, and do that a total of 3 times. And then half double crochet 2 together. Repeat this all the way around. At the end of your round 24, you're simply finishing off with your half double crochet 2 together over the final 2 stitches, and then joining with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch. At the end of round 24, you'll have a total of 52 stitches. Chain 1, turn your work. Now for round 25, we're going to slip stitch into that next stitch, followed by our half double crochet 2 together, starting in the same stitch. You're going to do that twice. And then work a half double crochet 2 together over the next 2 stitches. Slip stitch and half double crochet twice. And then half double crochet 2 together. Repeat that all the way around. At the end of round 25, you're simply going to slip stitch into the one stitch that is remaining. You're going to join with a slip stitch into the top of the first stitch. You'll have a total of 47 stitches. Chain 1, turn your work. Now for round 26, we're going to slip stitch and half double crochet 2 together. You're going to do that once and then simply work a half double crochet 2 together over the next 2 stitches. Slip stitch and half double crochet 2 together, beginning in that same stitch, and half double crochet over the next 2 stitches. Repeat this all the way around. At the end of round 26, you're going to finish off with a half double crochet 2 together, join with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch, chain 1, and do not turn your work. At this time, for round 27, we're simply going to work half double crochet 2 together in each stitch all the way around. So half double crochet 2 together over the first 2 stitches, then half double crochet 2 together over the next 2 stitches. Repeat that all the way around. At the end of your round 27, you're going to join with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch. You can then go ahead and fasten off, leaving a little bit of a long tail. You're then going to take that long tail and using your yarn needle, you're going to thread it through and use the long tail to sew the top of your hat closed. So to do so, I'm just weaving my tail in and out through the tops of the final round there of half double crochet 2 together all the way around. When you come back all the way around to that first stitch, you're simply going to pull it closed and fasten. And you may wish to tuck your tail down into the center of your hat so it's on the inside before you fasten it again. You can use that long tail to sew your pom-pom onto the top if you choose to work one, or you can simply tuck it in and fasten off. Turn your hat right side out, and that's all there is to working this River Stone Beanie. So thank you so much for joining me. While you're here once again, I invite you to subscribe, take a look around. If you happen to make the River Stone Beanie and share it on social media, do be sure to tag Rich Textures Crochet, as I always love to come by and admire your work. Until next time, happy crocheting. Bye.